Speaking of Super Saiyan, let's talk about our first matchup. It is, of course, pinned to be probably the game in just the group stage. We can easily say that now. This is number 1 seed versus number 2 seed, essentially, in terms of really where these teams have been, where these teams are coming from, where these teams are going. Really hard to talk about statistics when you've just gone and beaten a team 7-0, guys. But what would you take away from their performance yesterday?
Yeah, as you mentioned, right, the numbers are a little bit inflated. The one thing that this graphic isn't showing is the entry stat. So Brendo actually going +2 yesterday. He was a star player, 170 EPS, reflective of that. Team Bliss kept it very, very simple yesterday. They started Nighthaven defense, and the attacks from Circular Spheres were quite one-dimensional, very, very linear. I think it might have been Brendo. I actually saw a TikTok this morning on my FYP. He posted some highlights, and you could hear the comms from the team. They were being very conservative and cautious of things like split pushes, being conscious of being pushed from the direction that they weren't watching. It never came from Circular Spheres. So they were able to just watch 1 or 2 angles, dump util there, and kept it simple, as I mentioned. It worked out very, very nicely for them. So for Bliss, I don't think that's going to be an approach that works today. I believe that Antic and their fundamentals and their theories should be stronger.
Sure.
So we'll see how they adapt, but expecting them to do well, of course.
Now, I'd also like to take just a second aside to apologise for my statement yesterday. I did make comment about certain mustaches on this team, and I'd like to apologise to absolutely no one. Absolutely no one. You are not getting an apology. Not now. Not ever. They are weak. You may as well add a bit of makeup on them to make them look thicker, boys. At least the performance in the server is thick. That's all that matters. Let's go ahead and talk about Antic, the team that really has made a bit of a ruckus coming into this year, but unfortunately, we really don't know what to expect. That's really the underlying tone here is it's new faces. Yes, we've got some of the stability that we've seen of old Xenox, but will this team perform to the standard that we hoped? I mean, look at Logic and Tuhan's EPS. They were top rated last stage.
Yeah, I think it's a good showing that clearly yesterday they didn't require Logic, Tuhan, the whole team really to be gelling. A lot of that first half and Juicy's performance on defense, Skyscraper, he did get kind of played into. For whatever reason, they just kept pushing into Juicy. And to the Don's credit, he was able to deal with them pretty comfortably. That's why he obviously has a very high EPS rating there. He's not really going to have that kind of night that often, right? That's kind of a one-off. Not because he's not capable of that. I think just better teams will look to probably avoid him a little bit more. He is going to play that hard breach on the attack, so he's not going to be as involved on, say, the entries. So it is up to Logic and Tuhan. When you kind of look at this particular graphic, Frixel played well, Killer played well. We know what we're going to get from Juicy. To beat Bliss, though, all 5 need to play well. You're going to need Prime Logic. You're going to need Prime Tuhan. They need to frag out. Most importantly, Logic as well. I think for his own individual confidence, but as a team, they have to be all on the same page.
My big question is, do you think he owns any sleeves anymore, Gus?
Yeah, I don't know. Logic's been very busy in the gym, so he's got to get those guns out.
He's cooking up a storm. But to be fair, again, as Xenox has just mentioned, and it's so crucial to preface this, you are going to need to perform at your best to beat the best. And the best in Bliss are miles ahead of the competition. We saw it in the final play day last year. These exact 2 teams playing, granted a different iteration of Antic, they got absolutely spanked when it mattered the most, Gus.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's all well and good to have the players in place to perform well, but you need to be able to perform well under pressure. And I think Antic would sense that this is an important game. Again, it's not absolutely critical that they do well, but it is an important confidence builder at the very least. And if they can pitch themselves as a top 2 team, again, really important for seeding and heading into the playoffs bracket, where this may end up being a head-to-head for the grand final for the qualification match.
Well, that's what we're expecting. And if anything's... look, if we know anything, it's not a granted. This is...
Who picked this?
I don't know who picked this one, but that's...
Why are you looking at me? Well, it was me, but... I mean... I think at the very best, these should be the 2-star players on the team. you could make an argument, and I tried to, for Sage, but I got shut down for whatever reason. People were like, Brendo. So I was like, okay, fine, I'll put my hands up. And he was the top-rated player yesterday, so fair enough. So looking at these two perform well, Brendo is just a phenomenal player all round, of course, and Logic, in his moment, can be such a huge clutch player, is how I would describe him, that he tends to find moments, playmaking opportunities where he thrives, and he's able to exploit the weaknesses of another team. How many weaknesses are there for Bliss for him to be able to find and exploit? Probably not many. So that's going to be the challenge for him to face today. Yeah,
it's funny. The only thing disappointing about Brendo is his mustache. But speaking of Brendo, you know, talking to Bliss, kind of coming into stage one, and you know, fortunately, we were all there to be able to talk to them internationally and hear their thoughts on Brendo, and they genuinely pick him as the best player in the region, which came as a bit of a shock to me as well, because I kind of thought, you know, we've got the likes of Sage, his brother Sage there, that has been so consistent for so long, but there's a conversation that's been brewing, which is that Brendo is now kind of sat in such a great position for such a long time. He's now becoming a bit of a fragger.
There's an interesting philosophy about this, though, and then when it comes to our region, for how long can you be regarded as the best in this region? Because I feel like it doesn't last very long, does it?
No. It's the.
Which I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, but like it's the truth of it. I mean, we've gone through iterations where we're like, it's Josh, it's Geo.
No.
That was 4 years ago, but you know, you get my point.
Logic,
though. You know,
Oda.
There's been iterations where I think whether it's over a particular stage or two for the year, it doesn't really go beyond that though. So it's really difficult to say be the best player in this region for basically more than 12 months.
Yeah, they do say that the brightest stars burn the fastest. I cannot confirm that. Maybe Mandy can, but let's go ahead and talk about the vetoes. Break this one down, as we do have to head to a map, and I just hope that we don't see labs, if I'm being completely honest. I've seen enough labs, not out of OCE, but I've just seen enough labs in the last week to last me a lifetime. But no Oregon, that's a good one. We're just going to guess who's banned. Oh no, I'm set on a spin.
Bliss banned out Oregon, Bliss banned out Clubhouse. I'm seeing a theme as they banned out labs. We had a Chalet. Actually, well, they didn't ban out labs, but sorry, don't do math on stream ever. We go to Chalet, which is interesting. You do kind of look at the majority of Bliss's bans, and again, it's really difficult to see, but they have been banning out, you know, Oregon's and Clubhouse and Skyscraper, so there's kind of more defensive maps. They want to actually open it up a little bit, so they've gone to Chalet, if you will. Bank was also down 2 out of the bottom 3. I kind of look at that bottom 3, and I think 2 out of 3 of those. I'm a little surprised that we actually don't go to labs, but we clearly saw from what Bliss is capable on that map that Antic aren't going to want to send it there. So Chalet, which I think in the end, Bliss are pretty happy with this.
Now, Antic start on attack, Guz. Does that fill you with a bit more hope? We know that Chalet is probably one of the more attacking sided maps we've got in the map pool, but is that still enough to turn the conversation?
Well, I mean, looking at like global stats of what we saw from SI, sure, it might lean slightly more towards the attack, but it is still a defend-decided map. So we'll see if they're able to kick things off in a positive fashion. I don't particularly dislike the decision because, again, on attack, you have the onus of setting pace, setting the tempo, setting the expectations in the match in that first half. So if Antic are confident and they can go in with a game plan to try and unlock the defense of Bliss, I think it will be fine. And again, Chalet offers a lot of opportunities to be splitting attacks, to be finding playmaking opportunities. And so if you can try and keep Bliss on their toes, they could find success for sure.
Well, it is time for us to dive into... No, sorry, it's not time to dive into, because Xenox has a fun fact.
It's not a fun fact, sorry, apologies as well, but...
That's okay. We'll just wait the players, the audience. We haven't started the red button yet.
I was just a little bit taken aback by Mrs. Swivel here. Now, have we gone with a name? Have we confirmed
We have confirmed the name. That is...
Beautiful.
You are looking at the angle from Taylor Swivel's perspective. That's right.
Me?
We're Swivels.
Me?
We're Swivelies around this part. That's
so
that's
we're going
damn sure.
Taylor Swivel?
We have gone with Taylor Swivel. I'm making an executive decision as the host, and that's just...
Geez. Hang on.
Let's go on. Yep. Yeah,
I think that's an up.
That is an up and down. Yes. It is Taylor Swivel, and it is time for our first matchup of the day. Mandy, is it true that the brightest stars burn the fastest?
That's a good question. So I'm an engineer, not an astrophysicist, but I actually think it's true, as I understand it. I think
You did
Rob
get
is
up like
correct.
a Wikipedia article before.
Yeah, I know, but I think I've confused myself by reading
really?
another one after that. So as I understand it, the weight of the star, the mass, sorry, yes, you know. That's
Very
science, that's
technical of you.
The mass of the star matters for the rate that it burns.
Cubically relevant to the observed luminosity.
Yeah.
You know,
If the star is
obviously.
heavier, it's more luminous, therefore it's brighter. And if it's heavier, it burns faster, so therefore the brighter stars burn faster. I think that is the logic behind it.
All right, well,
But I'm not a scientist.
not a scientist, you are an engineer. Enough of those antics, let's get into our first match of the day. It is the best team in the region versus the runners-up for all of last year. Team Bliss taking on Antic Esports. And on Chalet, an exciting prospect for both of these teams who are phenomenal at Chalet, both undefeated in recent history with one exception, and that was Bliss at Six Invitational, losing this map to G2 in their elimination game.
Oh, interesting. Well, I feel like going back into OCE, it's a very different ballpark, right? You know,
Well, you don't think Antic and G2 are equivalent opponents?
it's actually quite a controversial take, isn't it? But, you know, that's my opinion. I don't know what you reckon, but...
Well, very bold of
yeah,
you, Mandy.
It is very bold of me, in fact. Anyway, interesting bans as we play out the ban phase. Brava being taken out by Antic. It's a pretty unusual one in general. I think Chalet's one of those maps where having your attack lineup isn't like, it's not that mission critical to have particular operators or that type of thing, and I think Brava being taken out does take away some of that remote disabling ability for Bliss, who tend to play the game a step slower and more methodically than I think the rest of the region will.
I guess it gives teams a little bit of freedom to ban what they think is a good operator for their opponent rather than banning something like generic
exactly.
for the map. And Bliss is, without a doubt, the best Brava team in the region. They were the early adopters. Chalet's a great map for it. We even saw Tuhan in chat saying, don't have fun wet. I assume that was in relation to the Brava ban. Maybe that was just in relation to a bit of banter. But I'm just going to put it out there. Tuhan didn't have fun yesterday. He got 2 kills in their whole game.
Okay, look, you know, I feel like you've got to get Tuhan a bit of credit, right? Like, you've got Killerman and Frixel that have just joined into the roster. It's hard to then be a frontline player, right, if you're Tuhan. Like, yes, Tuhan's a gunner, but are you really going to be picking Ashe and Zofia when you've got Logic, Killerman, and Frixel on your team? You're probably not, right?
You've essentially got Antic with like 4 entry stars and then Juicy, who ironically was the fragger yesterday. He got 12 kills and only died 6 times on Skyscraper. He had one of his best games that I've seen from him for at least years, and as a support no less. So it's great to see him back and firing, and I'd love to see a little bit more of that from Antic today, because of course they are going up against the best in the region, the best that OCE has to offer. Top 8 at Six Invitational, roster unchanged for quite a few months now. Bliss are looking fiery, and they're starting on the defense to boot.
I'm looking forward to this matchup, I think in particular for Antic and their mindset going into it and just how much they've been able to improve. Over the last month, essentially, they've only really formed as this 5 post the Wrecked campaign earlier this year in January, so it hasn't been that long since this team has formed, but I'm curious to see how far they've gotten.
Neither of these teams were truly tested yesterday. Bliss 7-0ing Circular Spheres, Antic 7-2ing Kelton's Knights. I'm really curious, because if there's any team that's going to really adapt to the new meta with the changes that we've seen implemented into the game, various buffs, nerfs, new operators, changes to sites, and various other aspects, like these are the 2 teams that are going to jump on that.
So with the absence of Tuberau, it does seem like Antic are going to have a think about opening the main wall. Nothing on the other side to stop that from happening, and that's going to be opened up pretty easily. Impact trick from Wettables wasn't successful as it was placed on the right-hand side, and oh, looks like a rush.
Okay, they're going straight on in for it, and Frixel does duel Wettables and find the opening pick. It's deep into sight now for Antic, disabling one of those evil eyes with a grenade. Killerman watching his flank. Who is it on the other side? Brendo, one of the best players in the region. He does land a tiny bit of damage, but he is fully locked out. Here comes Fisher Guy from around the corner, taking one down and denying that plant for a brief moment as Antic must regroup. Bliss look for this retake, and it seems to be working for them.
Great discipline here from Fisher Guy as well, not willing to overpeak without a teammate to support him flush. Unsuccessful, as he is Warden after all. We do pick him for the gadget now, and as the retake starts to come on through, the rest of Bliss being really patient about this.
And Fisher Guy has found his opportunity to find 3 kills. Bliss, a perfect retake onto that bomb site. Antic had a great idea, but they were left floundering.
Not bad from Team Bliss there. I thought it was a good idea from Antic to have a crack at doing something unexpected, catch them off guard with a rush. And yes, they did claim the first onto Wettables, but the problem with doing this against Team Bliss is that they've got redundancy in their way of retake, right? You've got Fisher Guy in the perfect spot to be able to rotate between the bomb sites. Not only that, but he doesn't over-aggress in his area either inside of blue. He knows he can play safe, wait for his teammates to come back. Oda comes back down towards the front with Brendo, and then someone else down back through West Main Stairs, and they eventually collapsed in on what was their own bomb site to take down Antic.
Yeah, it just really shows a lot of restraint and patience from Bliss. Most teams, to be honest, are going to be shitting themselves when they see that the attack is fully flooded into the site. Chile is a map where you've got to roam, but can you realistically roam when they're rushing the site? Well, Bliss have said, yeah, that's fine. We weren't ever stressed out.
I was going to say that from compounding from yesterday when we were casting them as well. The thing that we say about Team Bliss that the other teams in OCE do not have is that Team Bliss have got a plan B and a plan C, right? Most teams in OCE have got a plan A, and that's about it. They might have a plan A and a plan like A.1 or something like that, right? Not really plan A and plan B to go after that, right? So I think, yeah, Team Bliss have the capability to fall back on another sort of tactic. I wouldn't say strategy, but another tactic that will, compounds the depth of the game.
Yeah, and it just speaks volumes that not only can they have confidence when they're playing well, but even when they're met with a setback like a rush that takes out their only site player or their main site player, it's fine. They are chilled out. They can pretty handily just deal with all of the relevant problems and step by step bring things back. Antic are doing a good job already of dealing with some of these issues presented by Bliss. I love the way Logic is using the Roteros to clear out some site util. I think he was even able to take down one of the Fenrir's FNAT Dreadmines as well in the site, which is going to be very handy later.
I don't mind this from Antic, like you've been saying. It does look like they are going in for a direct take, going straight into the bomb site, taking all the way down in the basement, as well as putting some pressure on Library in tandem to try and surround the bomb site. They don't want to go for the full clear. They just want to commit some of their utility into clearing some of these power positions on the top floor. So storage being opened up does allow an angle for Frixel, but Oda actually off the back of that is able to find the first pick.
There's a trade on back again. The plant is going down. This execute from Antic. Is there an answer? Good shot there from Logic to trade back his teammate. But Antic are left worse for wear with just two players. And of course, Library has been retaken. Wettables able to deny that plant. All up to Tuhan now. They know exactly where he is. He is being baited by Brendo. And he is essentially trapped here in this corner up above. Wettables is watching his little feetsies. Does a hell of a lot of damage. And now Tuhan is a bit uncertain of how to navigate this 1v3.
Pretty nigh impossible 1v3 here is pretty low, as there is actually someone in the basement all the way in blue, and Brendo's going to think the better of it, as he's pretty low as well, and will fall off that fight. I think in general, for Antic, I don't mind the approach. I think I was being a bit harsh on Circular Spheres yesterday, to be honest, for the way that they were attacking, and I think we've seen both these teams now go for pretty direct brute force takes against Bliss. There's Brendo to clean up that round, but it was pretty inevitable at that point. I don't mind the idea from Antic, just as, to be honest, I probably shouldn't have minded the idea from Circular Spheres yesterday. The problem with, I think, both the style of attacks that these teams have gone for is that I think they're jumping the gun a little bit on the idea. I think going for a direct take is a good idea, but before you move into that execute phase, before you make something happen, you need to do a bit more work before that to go and dislodge some players to then go and make the execute happen. Otherwise, you're just going to have people running in on the retake completely safe, right? So I think ultimately for Antic, maybe not breaking down the defense enough to actually make their plan work, not doing enough setup work for it, and getting a little bit ahead of themselves is costing them some rounds.
I do have a lot of respect for Antic for their pace. That's 2 rounds in a row where they were executing a minute into the round or less. So it's nice to have that pace, because I think a lot of teams won't expect it, but Bliss is one of those teams that, they've played FaZe Clan, they've played G2. They're going to expect everything from patience to promptness, and I think Antic is really just learning, maybe we can't pull something like that off against Bliss. It's narrow margins. It's one gunfight here or one denial of the plant or a position there. And Antic, it's a tough lesson playing against the best team in the region. They can certainly make it work, I think, but 2 rounds behind already at the start doesn't bode fantastically for them.
I think that's a great comment that you've made. I'm going to piggyback off that as well, because I think for Antic, as a region that probably have only been scrimming other Australian teams, it probably does work against other Australian teams,
Korean and
right?
Japanese teams that they would likely scrim as well.
Yeah, chances are it probably does work, but when you're playing against a team with a bit more depth and a little bit more of your thought-out defenses, then it doesn't work. And I think, unfortunately, it's less of Antic playing a horrible game, but more that Bliss has got pretty thought-out defense here.
That's a very nice angle from Tuhan. Lovely to see the ACOGs back, especially on Buck. That was an old classic back in the day.
No more 1.5s. You really got to commit, make a decision between the magnified scope and the 1 times. And yeah, I know, long angles, but fortunately for Bliss, like they know how Chalet works. A lot of long angles, a lot of exposed positions, and half of the game of defense of Chalet is just not dying to somewhere outside, some window repel, some angle.
That's where the strength of the Azami and Castle combination does come in on Chalet as well. It does mean that a lot of those cutoff angles that once would exist for the attack are then blocked off by at least one form of barricade. Player behind half wall is Sage, and maybe contested by Killerman, who's being pretty cautious just outside of the window there. Oh, sorry, the doorway. There's a door and a window. I lost my mind for a bit there.
Well, Sage is in an awkward position because his wall breach has been open, and now Killerman has taken down the primary site player of Fisho Guy and doubled down. This is open for Antic. 3 kills for Killerman, living up to his name. And swiftly, Antic have stolen the show. Oda finds 1 back, but he is needing to retake now, and there's a slew of players watching his position. Where is Brendo? He's springing into action finally, put Killerman to rest. Now, I misspoke earlier, the site is of course down in Dining, but that doesn't discount the progress that Antic have made.
Here goes Brendo on the retake through the top floor though. They know that they are 1 man down, and so if they can claim back 1 more fight, make the numbers even, it does make this a little bit easier now for the 2 remaining players of Team Bliss. Antic still need to worry about Odo as well back on the flank. Now, it does look like their 2 deceased players are on these flank cams, so they might not have to worry about them for too long. Nevertheless, the time is ticking away. 40 seconds now, and Antic needs to consolidate.
Wow. That is really good patience there from Brendo. He finds 1, he spots a 2nd player. In fact, he spots both of them. Misdroned upstairs earlier, and now it's all up to Oda. Low HP. 4 kills to his name thus far. He's just rounding the corner, but Logic is there to claim the first round for Antic. And they finally have a look in this game.
That was the round of Killerman, honestly. Fantastic entry there on the top floor. Completely opened up the one area that they needed to then go and put the pressure on the bomb site. The moment that you've got Master, you've got Office, all 3 players in that vicinity dead. They can start to play the vertical, put pressure on the bomb site. Even though Brendo did eventually come up for the retake, they shut him down there as well. The only person they had to worry about was Oda, who was pretty low from an early engagement. So fantastic early game here from Antic to close 1 out.
I know this is a really minute point, but that was 3 kills Killerman got without headshots. Really hard to land like quick time to kill, but it goes to show like that L85 really does pack a punch, and he's got really good aim that even if he's not landing the headshot, like he's landing 3 bullets, the first 3 bullets that come out of his magazine. Just one of the upcoming mechanical players of the region. Killerman, people have had their eye on him for quite some time. He made a name for himself on that ex-Mammoth, now Man Esports roster. And of course, him and Frixel being the stars of that team now have their upgrade over to Antic. And that just leaves you with a very fiery roster. Tuhan hasn't really needed to step up. Of course, he's in a very different role now. But it just goes to show the fragging depth this team possesses.
I think Tuhan as well being willing to jump back into a more backline position is, to me, it's the mark of a good player, in my opinion. I think, you know, having someone that's quite young and also quite mechanically talented as Tuhan, being willing to go back a bit and support his teammates, do what needs to be done to help win out the rounds is also a good combination for this team.
Early breach, and continuing his trend of breaching the right-hand side of the wall that cannot be impact tricked. Good job from Antic, aware of all of the little tricks that Bliss might have up their sleeve, especially with the new, I don't know what you call it, like the little line that it shows you when you're throwing a projectile, the guides. It makes it a lot easier to land impact tricks like that. There's actually someone in library, isn't there? Have they misdroned this? I thought I saw an outline in library. No, I'm crazy. No, I'm crazy.
Okay, yeah, that scared me as well. I was like, no way, right? No way, no way.
All
anyway.
Right.
Interesting attack so far from Antic, once again looking to do something pretty direct, going in towards the bomb site from the snowmobile side. They have claimed library control as well, and aided by the Nomad, they can now zone off half of this top floor. It's where Oda is currently situated. Has been droned out, but doesn't look like Antic are looking to do a full clear of the map.
Yeah, actually, that's why they're using this Nomad to just cover these flanks. They are still taking quite a bit of map control, and with that, they can leverage the RAM and this vertical potential down onto the bomb site. Quite a contrast to the previous attack from Antic, right, Mandy? Clearly, this team does have several attacks in their arsenal on this bomb site, not just that quick rush that they showed last time.
So, to me, the danger man here is probably Fisho, who's the only person left on the bomb site. Now, he has had to vacate some of the vertical pressure coming in, and that will possibly give an in for Antic to make their jump into the bomb site. The next play they have to worry about, of course, is Wettables and Amira setup going over and dining. Now it's a toss-up for Antic, right? Do they actually fully clear the top floor so that Brendo's Mira is useless? Or, at this point, do they just hit the bomb site because only Fisher Guy's there?
Oh, Wet. He had a rotate prepared, and he was able to put some trade pressure back onto the main stairs, but of course he is traded again. Antic finding that numbers advantage as Killerman pushes in through blue, and it springs to life for the attack once again, all up to Oda on for this flank, and he's not able to find one. Antic, 2 great attacks in a row, evens up the scoreline.
Honestly, I thought that was excellent decision-making there from Antic. They realized at some point that they had fully cleared out the bomb site. There wasn't really a necessity to go then and clear out the rest of the top floor and into dining because they found some blind spots to go and entry into the bomb site without having to face that mirror. Yes, they did lose one to Wettables, but that was traded out pretty quickly. And by the time that I think Bliss were on to that, they'd recalled their plays back to the bomb site just a second too slow. By then, you had Killerman right in the middle of the bomb site, taking people down. And honestly, it was pretty smooth from Antic to be a step ahead in the decision-making.
Yeah, really good reads from Antic. And as the meta often is, it's just about finding one little advantage here or there, finding that trade, putting that pressure on, forcing people to peek, and then capitalizing on it. And I think they did that really well. They contained that retake from Bliss as well. Oda was completely zoned out of the map. And I don't know, I feel like we might actually be getting some really solid siege here, Mandy. This is the top 2 teams in the region, and Antic is starting to show it.
I think so. I think we've got some pretty good siege going on here. I think it's pretty clear that Antic have always got a plan going into these attack rounds, but I think they've shown that they're willing to deviate from their plan and actually have a second think about it as well. The first 2 attack rounds that they lost, it felt like they were really overcommitting to said plan, but those last 2 attacks I think have shown some good restraint.
Holistically, of course, we play 7 best-of-1s in the group stage, or the round-robin phase, whatever you want to call it, and then we move into playoffs, which is a preceded single-elimination bracket, so you don't get a second life. The top 2 teams do start with 1 game in advantage. Now, these are likely the 2 teams to end up in that position, but what is the cost of losing a round-robin game here or there? Well, it could mean playing an extra best-of-3 when it comes to those playoffs. Both of these teams want to start in pole position.
Clear of library, not successful for Killerman as a C4 has landed from down below. Fisher Guy with info inside a library off the back of the Valkyrie. Does mean that the opening pick has gone in the way of Team Bliss.
Very powerful Valkyrie cameras. She's been around for a long time, but don't underestimate her potency. Oh, look at this from Brendo. Wow, how does he see that? Through the bushes, Logic taken extremely low.
I think we need new eyes, though, honestly.
Bro,
like, we have the outlines in the spectator cam, and I cannot see that guy.
I have no idea how he can see that.
We need new eyes.
Yeah. Looks like he's got binoculars. I want to know what settings he's running. Is he like 4-3 stretch dress with the 1x sight? Beautiful stuff. A lot of damage done. Antic still poking and prodding. Duhan's actually jumped in straight around that frost mat, and he's looking for a pre-fire. I think he got a little bit unlucky with the timing there. What is going on? Sage is here to support as well. He's looking to come to Wettable's aid, but it doesn't save his life. Duhan has finally finished him off with the pistol. However, Sage may well be on for a flank. He instead decides to vacate the position.
He's got a C4 from down below as well. Suhan is vulnerable to said C4 from inside of office as well. Now, I don't think they've got info inside of office that would be... I mean, they could have a cam there, you never know. But Brendo, speaking of the devil, will land one from down below anyway. So numbers dwindling very much now for Antic. Juicy, though, can claim 1 back.
Very good shot from Juice there. The X factor is, of course, Sage. Still on this roam, still in dining. Massive flank potential, but Antic are clearly aware of it. Juicy's just set up a drone for it. Someone's going to have to go and get that diffuser from outside as Juicy tries to put some more pressure on the site, and Fisher's got a really awkward position now with his mirror window.
I quite like this from Juicy, putting the pressure on, not being afraid of trying to find the blind spot through this hatch, and it does look like they are posturing for an execute here. Fisher Guy is going to make an effort to dislodge this, though, with the Warden gadget online. He can make quick work of those flashbangs.
Oh, big pick for Tui. Is it info on Sage? Juice spots him for a brief moment. And here's that mirror window. Fisher Guy still has the ability to leverage it, but Juicy's rotating now. Duhan has the diffuser. Juicy needs to try and go for Fisho. Oh, and he doesn't use his glance glasses. Sage now in a 1v2. And it doesn't matter because Juicy's there to frag out. Massive stuff from Antic as they steal the lead away from Bliss.
Great comeback in the round there as well. Bliss held the man advantage for the last about minute of the round, and somehow the final two players of Antic, Tuhan and Juicy, able to clean house. Great execute there as well. I think unfortunate timing there for Fisher Guy. He'd probably just activated his glass his moments before that execute had come through, which gave Juicy his entry and the final kill as well. Great round.
One thing I love seeing from Antic is every one of these players on this team is adaptable, is flexible. Juicy, if he doesn't have the diffuser and instead he has to be the one to frag out, he'll make plays. He'll drop the hatch and cover. He'll not only take down Fisho here, which was the pivotal player, but then be ready to cover for Tuhan's plant as well. When you've got 4-star players on a roster and then Juicy is your 5th, you're like, okay, maybe he's the one that's always on the back line, but no, he's ready for anything. We saw that yesterday. We're seeing more of it today. I'm really impressed with this Antic iteration.
Me too. They've done really well here, honestly. I know it is they were attacking half, so there might be an asterisk on that, but I think, honestly, even as the game stands, it's pretty even split, I think, between the two sides. I think they've shown really good stuff, both in the micro and I think in decision-making for the macro as well.
Just to double down on that, we've actually had 2 rounds in a row here where Bliss have found the opening pick, and yet Antic has stolen the round win. They're unfazed at losing an early player, just as we praised Bliss in the very first round for losing site control, losing the opening pick, and then still managing a retake. Antic are doing something very similar when they're a man down on their attack.
So here's Antic looking for their sweep through the map, entering in from library to try and clear out any roamers on this side of the map, although it has been fully vacated, so they will have this full control all the way up to the glass cabinet hallway. Actually, speaking of, there is still a setup over on the Ivy stairs. Killerman's entered in from down below, but it seems like Oda knows.
Oh, he has been droned. Oda is somewhat trapped. He's cut off from windows above. Flash is not really able to achieve much. It's going to be really hard to actually kill him here, but he can be zoned out by Antic. I think Antic are looking for a pick. They're just looking for some strange map control. I'm going to be honest. Like, it's kind of weird. They're taking like games and a lot of lateral map control, still quite far from the objective.
I mean, I don't mind these. I think sweeping the map, take what you can on Chalet is probably the way to go. To be honest, the map isn't like super big. You want to take what real estate you can get. Tuhan taken down very low from an engagement inside of Piano, but not down just yet. Does seem like they're creeping their way through the top floor. Oda will finally claim that first pick onto Frixel, who'd entered in down below, as you were speaking about earlier.
Yeah, and Brendo managed to peek and get his kill onto Killerman as well. Despite being on drone for quite some time, we saw that drone light up. They knew his position, and yet he was still able to peek and find his kill. Antic completely unsuccessful in clearing out this power position in the display hallway. Oda and Wettable still unfazed. And Antic don't have a lot of options at this point. Now they're just trying to find freebies based on the info they've got on site, but Brendo is pulling on back.
That shield has become pretty popular, that one in the display hallway, and when you want to go for a sweep like that, you are sort of playing directly into that strategy, right? Ooh. So there we go. Nice shots from Juicy, once again being pretty sharp this series. We'll take down Brendo, the lone player on the bomb site.
There's the first step needed as well. 1 player deficit now for Antic on this attack. They're just looking for one more. Oh, here comes Sage. Lands the critical shot, but he's feeling a lot of pressure with 2 players surrounding him. Dancing around the piano. Oda could fall here as well. He needs to win this fight or at least get away with his life to guarantee Bliss continuing this man advantage. A flash goes out. Oh, what a wall bang from Tuhan. That is what Antic needed. 3v3 with 30 seconds to play. And Bliss unsure of their position. 2 players still above as the bomb site is down and dining, left in the capable hands of Wettables. As Juicy takes a bit of damage on the duel, but Tuhan finds his man. Both players for Bliss now up above, looking to deny the plan. Sage misses his shots just briefly as Antic flood into the site, looking desperately for a plan opportunity, but Tuhan's found his 3rd. Sage v3 to win out the half. Antic could get it done here. 1 HP. Oh, Sage! Are you kidding me, man? 1v3, no kills required, plant denial, and Bliss are even at the end of the half.
Oh my goodness, you only needed to kill 1 person then. That was the person to kill, going for the planter right below the hatch. Antic going for a frantic attack in the last few seconds of the round. Couldn't find a safe spot from the vertical. There was nowhere that was safe from the vertical lines or from the hatch. Someone had to go for a desperate plant, and Sage capitalized on that.
Wow. Holy moly, like that was That was massive from Sage. I thought for sure that Antic had that. 2 on, low HP from the early round, and he still finds 3 picks to bring back a numbers advantage. That was a 3v4 to a 3v1, and Sage didn't even hit a kill.
Yeah, right. Wow.
Isn't that insane? Wow, that's a huge buffer for Bliss now. They've really been bailed out of what looked to be a half that was getting away from them. They won the first 2 in a row. They were about to get swept 4 back. And now they've brought it to an even position, moving on to their own attack.
Yeah, that was great. Great get out of jail card. But yeah, now they've gone for the side swap. So we'll see how things pan out. Of course, when the side swap does come in, quite a different dynamic now for Team Bliss jumping onto their attack. We'll have to see if they can bring in the same success that Antic did on some of their ideas. Now, everything being said, Antic, I think as the half went on, got progressively better. Right, at the start, it looked quite scary for them, the way that they were trying to take Bliss down. But it felt like everything was getting a little bit more thought out as the round, as the half went on. I'm pretty excited to see their defense now as well and how that'll play out.
Antic really excelled at playing for that numbers deficit. We saw it round by round. They would have an early disadvantage and then bring it back anyway. Let's see if they can achieve the same on defense, because Bliss are so good on their attack. And with that Soulless band out, they can leverage one of their greatest strengths, which is their pre-placed drones and their drone work, to really get in the face of Antic. Oh, what a shot, Killer Man! That is nasty. Looking for a second, he does it. And that is why he gets the pickup onto a big team like Antic. Now Sage is thankfully able to find one back, and Killerman is caught lacking. So any advantage that Antic were able to establish has been eliminated. As I say that, Juicy with the 1x. Another long shot onto Brendo. This is 1 minute into the round and half the players in the server are dead.
That's some classic Antic move there, isn't it? When you've got 4 fraggers on the roster, it is going to be very hard to try an entry into the map, and unfortunately there for Team Bliss, Killerman just in the right place at the right time, taking 2 individual fights, landing his shots.
Oh, okay, I don't know what you're doing, Juice. Caught out of position.
No, I think he was naded out of his position, though.
Ah, clever. And Sage as well supporting. Now on the Deimos, we didn't mention before, he's already found 1 kill with the AK, and now he's tracking Frixel. He knows exactly where he is. Let's see if he's able to find something. Oh!
What?
Got! Beautiful from Frixel. 1v2 position now. Goes begging for Wettables. He's got the util to cover it. Still 2 flames and 1 smoke. And the key here for Antic is patience. Utilize their greatest asset, which is their teammates.
Oh my god, that was filthy from Frixel. He just knew, man. He had the Spidey senses activated in that 1v1. Here's Wettables. 50 seconds left to go in this 1-on-2.
Is it a vault?
I think he knows what they are. I think he's got an inkling of what he's looking at.
Oh, they've got a good crossfire.
This is a great crossfire.
They can push together. Okay, that's a good flame. Oh, and he uses it to cross. This is an unusual plan position. He's trying to bait out a swing. Sees the first player. Can he run in the corner for the second? Oh, Wettables goes down. That was another tight scenario, but Antic again clinching the win, going just ahead. And Log very happy about that one. I gotta say, Mandy, this game is already delivering.
Absolutely. I mean, what a crazy round that was between these 2 teams. The early game, not shy of action whatsoever. Every gunfight somehow going in the way of Antic, but then Wettables with honestly a pretty incredible clutch attempts there, utilizing everything in his arsenal to try and make that one work, but Logic just too sharp in the final kill. What does this one tap? I could have swear every single gunfight that we saw happen in this round was like, oh my goodness. You know?
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my god. Oh my. And they just kept being trades back. That was so good from Frixel. So yes, when you're a defender and you're getting marked by Deimos, you do get a ping. But as we could see Sage's POV, like the ping onto Frixel was really good, really live. It's kind of like Grimm's Bees. But as a defender, the ping that you get onto Deimos is not nearly as good. It's far less frequent. Kind of a bit more like a line scan or like a ping that kind of happens every half a second. I don't know the exact time intervals. And so it's pretty impressive of Frixel to be able to time that so well onto Sage.
Okay, I don't actually know how long that death mark was on him for, but like how quickly do you know that you're getting
It tells you for, I think it's like 3 seconds before the pings happen.
Okay.
And then you get the ping. And yeah, like I said, you get to see where Deimos is. But I don't know about you. Every time I get marked by Deimos, I'm like, oh, where is he? And like turning around, doing little 360s, trying to see all over the map. Very quick thinking for Frixel to be aware of that and pre-fire the bathroom window.
That's so scary, man. I don't know. I couldn't do that. That's not good. Wow. Anyway, yeah, here we go. So this is the second attack attempt. Tongue twister now for Team Bliss. Sweeping in through the top floor. Actually, not quite going in for the sweep in through the top floor. Just putting some pressure out on Library for now.
There's a lot of setup in Library as well. Azami and a mirror window, both operators that have been nerfed in the last couple of months. We do have a DMR on Fish, so that should be able to dispatch with the Azamis pretty easily. And we do have the Ash from Oda, which should be able to dispatch with the mirror at range as well. So I quite like this setup for Bliss. They've got lots of ingredients that could make this pretty safe. There goes that first DMR, taking down the Azami Keeper barrier. Second one shouldn't take much longer.
This is just the patience game now for Team Bliss. They know that they've got the tools that they need to actually dislodge these players from this top floor position. Not only have they got the tools they need to take down the Keeper barricades, but they've got plenty of grenades as well. Oda as well, being able to get the cutoff onto Tuhan, walking straight into his crosshair, but not before the trade comes through.
Yeah, trades in abundance. Oda is doing a fantastic job on Jigsaw spot as well, but Logic still has not been dealt with. As I say that, he peeks straight into the waiting arms of Brendo, leaving just 2 Antic players to pick up the pieces of the round. Plenty of time for Bliss to consolidate here, as Frixel just looks for piece by piece an advantage back. But Oda's found 3 from this position, and Juicy is in a world of hurt. 6 kills, continuing his mighty form from his debut yesterday. He will need a 1 versus 4 clutch now, and already when they know where he is not going to stand a chance. Just a matter of time. He even finds a kill in amongst it, but it doesn't matter because Bliss steal the round.
I mean, if you watched Bliss play against Wolves on this map, you will know that they know how to attack
Oh,
Bar.
yeah.
They absolutely know how to attack Bar in games. Yeah, just the patience game there on the top floor. They knew they had all the tools that they needed to dislodge the players in the top floor. Not only that, but once they actually did want to make that entry work, they had plenty of utility to then go initiate those entries from coming in through. And you pointed out pretty astutely, Oda with 3 kills on 1 window. It's about how Chalet goes, really. So, yeah, Team Bliss just doing things that they're very well drilled at here.
Yeah, they really know how to manipulate Chalet so well. One of their best maps. And they even could have beaten G2 on this map at 6 Invitation. This was, by the way, the one that they 7-0'd Fury on. They also beat D+ on this map as well, which I know that Bliss have themselves said that was one of the worst games they've played in a while, despite it being a 2-0 in their favor. Antic really were pretty brave, leaving both Chalet and Nighthaven Labs in. And I think that just is a testament to the bravery.
That was really scary. Oh my gosh, Steph.
Just almost fell off my chair and I stubbed my finger.
Oh.
But I didn't break my sentence until you pointed it out.
Okay, I'm sorry. That
My
scared
finger really
me more
hurts
than
now.
it scared you. You know, you know when you drop your phone and you say "ow" for your phone? That's like that's like what it
Are you
felt
comparing
like.
me to your phone? Is
No,
that all I am
no,
to
no,
you?
no,
Just
no,
an inanimate
But
object?
that's like what it felt like, you know.
Second-hand pain. The point I was trying to make, Antic are ballsy for leaving Chalet in, and they've been able to back it up with 4 rounds so far. I wouldn't put it past them to find a few more.
That's a much more important point to be making, to be fair. Yeah, I mean...
I was trying to play it cool. You threw me right off that bus.
Sorry. All right, here we go. Team Bliss on the clear and through library. There is someone in the dark corner. But Brendo has got nades, and Fisher Guy has got smokes, not flashbangs. Never mind, that's not quite how that works. Oh,
Wow.
1 nade to be sunk in, and it's perfect. Brendo can collect a kill off his own bit of utility onto Frixel. Easy as he does it, the first bit goes in the way of Team Bliss.
Yeah, that's phenomenal. You don't often get to see people clearing out positions with nades for an actual kill, right? Like, since the removal of cooking nades, it's very difficult to actually land kills anymore, but a well-trained player knows how to bounce it so that it reduces that cooking timer. That's exactly what we saw. Great start here.
Oh, it was a C4.
Yeah, right, okay.
I think that C4's potentially gone. Oh yeah, there we go. We just watched that C4 get decimated by the Mars rover, and Juicy now falling back to the bomb site behind the safety of his mirrors. But these mirrors probably will not be safe for all that much longer with the vertical play now in the hands of Team Bliss. Does look like Antic is still trying to hold on to at least the other half of this map for now. But it might not be necessary for Team Bliss to clear the entire map.
It is a time sink, isn't it, to try and clear the map?
Oh, they're going for it.
Okay, this is a very, very quick flank. Oh, Logic, my dude, missed his opportunity, and as a result, his team gets absolutely picked to pieces. Desperate now, going for a run out outside. They're actually going to push for this kill, surely not. I mean, you know it's a 5v1 on the site. Juicy finds his first. He's also got a mirror to look for the second. Don't overcommit here, Bliss. Just because you know Log's off site, it doesn't matter. They found the guy on site, and they've also taken out Log on his flag. That was quite a round for Bliss, and with it, they're starting to run away 2 rounds in a row, and they've found themselves on a 5th.
Yeah, well thought out attack there from Team Bliss. They realized that they didn't need a full sweep of the map, and ultimately, I think Antic actually played into the hands at the end there, going in for the retake. Team Bliss were already pretty well postured to have that cut off, and as they took those engagements, the crossfires were pretty strong for Team Bliss on the attack, expecting the retake to come on through. You pointed out as well, Brendo going in for the entry down into the bomb site, someone to follow up, take down Juicy. That's about all you need, really, for a round win.
Both these teams are so good on attack of Chalet. We saw it in the first half with Antic. Yeah, they might have lost the first 2, just a little bit of jitters getting into it. A few misplaced early pushes. But aside from that, it was 4 pretty convincing rounds in a row, with the exception of Sage stealing away their 4th at the end of the half. And now Bliss have landed 2 attack round wins in a row, where they still have 4 players left alive. Tuhan, my dudes.
I can hear the couch laughing.
Oh. Yeah, well, I hope Tuhan didn't have too much setup to do, because he's not going to have much time anymore. He was just on drone hunting duty anyway, so thank goodness.
He had 1 job.
Well, if I'm not wrong, how many drones have been taken out? It says 2, maybe 3? Oh, yeah, just the 1. Okay, that's pretty solid from Bliss.
He got his 1. He got his 1.
He got his
complain.
1. Well, you know, when Solus is banned, you do what you can.
That is fair enough. All right, here we go. Team Bliss. Another attack attempt, but this time the bomb site is over inside of Master and Office. Does look like a solid take this time around, something we haven't seen them do before.
I like the gridlock pick. Very good for a solo take. You could mince up the stairs position. You also got the nades to boot as well. Not to mention, Gridlock's primary, the F90, one of the best ARs on attack.
I'm interested to see how the Carly pick's going to come into play for Oda. I have no idea where he's... Oh, no. He's all the way out looking into bathroom.
Is he
yes.
Is he actually on the bloody helipad or whatever
we
it's
saw
called?
him do this at SI, didn't we? Anyway.
I don't remember.
Alas,
oh, this is...
there he is.
My God, this is so cringe.
Well, there is no one. This is not cringe. This is tactical. You know? Oh, wow. There you go. Nade sunk. That's the player on Solar. Dealt with pretty easily. No catch on the side of the defense does mean that 1 nade is all it takes. Juicy now in a bit of bother inside of Master, realizing that he is being pinched out by the players on the rappel. Potentially double window pressure if that comes about as well.
This is such a cool push here from Bliss. I do love, I mean, as much as I said it was cringe, this is a very clever usage of the Kali to bait Antic into retaking through bathroom. You've just got a player on the main window rappel as well, but not overextending. You've got the nades clearing out the position on the solar stairs. It's frankly beautiful. And as Fisher Guy makes his way in to join Sage...
Oh, that was brave.
This
oh my God.
Extremely brave from Fish, but he does manage to take down that bulletproof camera, at least the visual aspect of it. Oda's now coming to support. He might have just mistimed this because someone is starting to make his way forward. Bandit is targeted by Deimos, but Juicy is able to find a C4 kill regardless. Now looking for a trade here. Sage with this pistol, trying to find something. Antic are still 1 player down, and, well, Wedables makes it 2. Bliss looking on fire at the moment as they are on the cusp of finding match point. Nobody on the defense on the site. They must retake, and Bliss are waiting, biding their time for an execute.
Oh, now Tuhan's being targeted as well. They know exactly where he is, looking for his retake, and that can be covered up pretty easily. Frixel as well, now locked out on the same side of the map as his teammate as the bomb is going down.
This is hopeless for Antic. The only way this works is Tui and Frixel hit some absolutely nasty shots. Frixel's the first man to try and do so. Head taken clean off, and it is all up to the Legion. There's a second kill. A 1v4 becomes a 1v2. But from the rappel position, how do you lose this? If you're Bliss, it feels almost impossible. Such a good bait now from Wedables on the window, who finds him upside down. Bliss have found their momentum, 3 rounds straight, and match point to boot.
Very patient attack there for Team Bliss, and honestly, great use of the Deimos as well. I don't think we've seen a whole lot of it yet in OCE, but being able to isolate the player inside of Closet, making it even harder for him, that was Juicy, to escape from the line of sight of Wettables, made that look pretty clean for Team Bliss. Lack of catch as well meant that their utility setup to get themselves into the bomb site inside of Solar was done pretty handily. Antic unfortunately falling to what was a very calculated direct take.
Beautiful attack from Bliss, so many layers of it. Even at the end, the Deimos was used just to scan out these last players. Like, do we reckon they're on site? I don't know, let me just check. Oh yeah, he's over here. He's ages away. We don't have to worry about him. It's just like quick and free information. You don't have to worry about sending another drone into site. You can just process elimination. He's off on the other side of the map. We can just take this free real estate. Doesn't matter that Deimos himself is getting pinged. Like, you know where Deimos is roughly. He's in the site, right? Or he's near the site. Beautiful innovation from Bliss. This is exactly what I wanted to see.
I quite like it. I'm really excited to see more of Deimos because I think, like, conceptually, against the sort of hero meta of OCE, where there's a lot of people that will happily go around doing some running around on their own and that type of thing, it should be pretty strong, right?
Yeah.
No,
He's
in
not
theory.
flawless, right? We already saw Sage get picked and baited using his own gadget, but I think a good team will be able to utilize Deimos far better than a good individual.
Exactly, yes. It's meant to be like a coherent piece of intel, and I think in a team setting that's quite important. Now Team Bliss on match point on what is potentially their final attack. Antic have decided not to repeat the same bomb site. They've seen their solo take and they thought, okay, we don't know what to do about that. So instead, they're going to jump down into kitchen and dining.
Well, would you believe that that marks 4 different bomb sites that Antic have tried?
They've gone around the world.
They've gone around the world, but not in a good way, because the first round they won was Master Office, which of course they just lost in a quite an embarrassing fashion. Since then they went Bar Games, Snowmobile Wine, back to Master Office, and finally now to Dining, and they have not found any footing on any of these bomb sites.
This is an interesting idea from Juicy. I don't really think about it earlier, to be honest, but the absence of the Brava does mean that playing Maestro could be not bad, to be honest.
Very true.
And that's quite exciting, because I feel like these days we don't see as much Maestro, especially with the special drone squadron coming out. Anyway.
Very true. And also, just to add to that, it's a great counter for the Sens and the Glaz.
That's exactly what I was thinking just then, right? It looks like Team Bliss are looking for a pretty direct attack into the bomb site, looking for their way in. How can they best use these the smoke screen, right? But with the Maestro being up, that is going to be a little more challenging to do.
Well, step one seems to be identifying where this setup is from Antic, and we can already see Killerman upstairs. Takes out one drone. He's about to get peeked, but I don't think this is going to be an overextension. Wettables has found his kills. Sage has indeed gone down, and no trade yet from the bathroom window. Antic have stolen the advantage, but Bliss steam ahead once again, finding a trade back onto Killerman above. They are threatening some form of an execute from this trophy stairs, as Oda has also droned out the site. Where are these Antic players?
This is really good from Team Bliss to pull a reaction from the 2 players on this side of the map, and being able to clean back the 2 picks for their own direct trade 3-on-3 situation. It makes this hard now for the defense. That Maestro Cam is going to be taken down by that grenade, I believe. And Oda in a great position as well to then cut off these remaining players going for the retake. The thing that Team Bliss have got to worry about now is if that top floor retake comes through from Antic, that could put them in a spot of bother, and it does look like they're going for it.
How on earth are you meant to execute into sight while there are 2 players up above and the hatch is open? Oda is looking to go deep. He needs to find this last player left on the ground floor. It is Logic, round in the corner. ACOG in hand, a good pre-fire nets him the kill that he was looking for. And with that, Bliss can go deep, but Frixel, oh no! He can't secure the kill. All up to 2 now in a 1v2, but Bliss has got his number. And they continue to dominate in Oceania. Antic had a solid start, but Bliss end the game with 4 attacks in a row and continue to be the best team in this region.
Certainly, the Kings of Chalet, after their SI showing, it now continues over here in OCE. Very much a challenge for Antic, taking them to such a strong map, but Bliss show us why they're the best.
They really do. Antic, everyone was saying, are they going to be the contenders to Bliss this season? They've had 2, in theory, upgrades on their roster, and they looked fantastic yesterday against Kelton's Knights, one of the other solid teams in this region. But Bliss were just leaps and bounds ahead of them. Credit to Antic, they had a really solid start. I think coming back from 2 rounds down to almost 4 in a row was beautiful, but Sage's 1v3 and the side switch marked the end of that.
Yeah, I think absolutely. As soon as Bliss went on to the attacking half, it just felt like Antic were lost on their defense there. Team Bliss did a great job at dislodging all the power positions that Antic could possibly think of. And yeah, that second half looks really good.
A very solid game from Bliss, who continue their reign of terror among OCE. But of course, our next game is coming up, and we've got some analysis for you after a quick break.